I thank the chairman. Thank you for convening this hearing, and thank our witnesses for taking time today to be with us and present your views. This is a topic that members of the committee care deeply about. Over the past 5 years that I've served in Congress, I've served on the Illicit Finance Subcommittee during that entire period. I know we've had many hearings about terror financing and related topics, but I don't remember us focusing on and analyzing the issue from a domestic perspective. I look forward to a constructive dialogue about this pending threat. Violent extremism is considered a growing problem in this country. FBI Director Chris Wray testified before the Senate last year, stating that homeland violent extremists are the greatest, most immediate terrorism threat to the homeland. Big statement. Furthermore, a report released by the Department of Homeland Security in September 2019 outlines domestic terrorism and mass attacks are as great a threat to the United States as foreign terrorism. Since 9/11, there have been 85 incidents of violent extremism committed, according to the GAO. This extremism has been impacting constituents in Arkansas all the way back to the 1980s. In 1985, current Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, who was then a U.S. attorney, helped dismantle the operations of the Covenant, the Sword, and the Arm of the Lord, a militia-style white supremacy group operating in North Arkansas. More recently, in 2009, a domestic radicalized Islamic extremist opened fire at the military recruiting station in my district in Little Rock, Arkansas, killing Private William Long of Conway, Arkansas, and wounding my friend, Private Quinton Ezeagwula from Jacksonville. These attacks are not isolated incidents, and we need to ensure as policymakers where we can better assist law enforcement efforts to track their funding and monitor their internet usage to inhibit the growth. Recent anti-Semitic attacks in the New York area are deeply concerning. The continued demonization of Israel through initiatives like the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement in this country are contributing to that anti-Semitic sentiment across our nation. I'm disappointed to report that last May in my home state, protesters interrupted a Holocaust Remembrance Day in Russellville, Arkansas, bearing signs with anti-Semitic language. I've long opposed the BDS movement and co-sponsored several bills to that effect, including our ranking member, Mr. McHenry's legislation in the 115th Congress. While I applaud the House for passing H.Res. 246 last July that opposes efforts to delegitimize Israel, but personally I don't think it went far enough. A watered-down, non-binding resolution isn't sufficient. I believe we should pass H.R. 336, Strengthening America's Security in the Middle East Act, being led by my colleague Mike McCall of Texas. Title IV of this legislation includes the Combating BDS Act, which would allow a state or local government to adopt measures to divest assets from entities using boycotts, divestments, or sanctions to influence Israel's policies. We need to create bipartisan solutions to ensure that violence and hatred does not continue to grow. I applaud the joint efforts of the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice, the FBI, and the National Counterterrorism Center, and what they've done to implement efforts to counter this violent domestic extremism. I encourage my colleagues today to think about ways the House Financial Services Committee can help underscore and contribute to the great work being done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you. The chair now